So that our live stream friends understand what's going on, 48 hours ago it was 82 degrees in Dallas, Texas, and currently right now it's 27 with about 1.5 inches of ice on the ground. So life doesn't always go as we want it to go, but we're here together. I want to ask you something. How many of you in the audience are mothers? And how many of you have a mother? Interesting how that all connects us. And the second question I have for you is, I want you to think about this, is what makes you get up in the morning? And I don't mean your alarm clock, and I don't mean that your dog licking you in the face or your children jumping on the bed saying, "Where's my breakfast?" But when life is tough, what gets you up in the morning? I want you to be thinking about that. What you might not have heard in my introduction is that I was the winningest coach at the University of North Texas for women's basketball. And if you Googled me, you would find out that after 19 years, my contract was non-renewed. And on the AP wire that afternoon, before I could even get to my family, I was fired. And so what I want to share with you today came from a great deal of loss that came in a pretty short span of time. In fact, I lost my father, and then I lost my mother, and then I lost my job, and then I lost a 10-year relationship. You know, that one that you think is for the rest of your life. And then I lost my house because I lost my job. And then I shattered my leg water skiing, something that I love to do and had been doing for 25 years. In fact, I was sitting in my home that I was about to sell, and I was sitting there, and you've all been there. Think of a time. You've all been there, and I'm sitting there with my little crutches beside me. And this commercial comes on, and it says, "Have you recently lost your job, been in a divorce, or had a major accident?" And I can remember I said out loud, I said, "Yes, yes, and yes." And the reason I tell you that is I think you're only supposed to say yes to one of them at a time. But it made me realize the importance it is to just feel. And I want to share that with you. Everybody in this room has had loss, but I was desperate. I mean, the loss of my mother absolutely devastated me. Out of all of those losses, that one was the one. And I learned through that we're all just desperate to be heard. In fact, I had this friend, Vic Schaefer. He was coaching at Texas A&M University at the time. And his son was wakeboarding at a camp in Tyler, Texas, and had an accident and tore the vein on top of his head, ruptured that, and they thought they were going to lose him. So I'm texting Vic one night. We're great friends along with colleagues. I hadn't seen Vic in a couple of years, and I'd been texting him, and I said, "Vic, text, how's your son?" He wrote back this night, and he said, "Son's okay, Dad's not so good." So the next morning, not sure why, but I got up. Instead of going to work, I drove to Tyler, Texas, didn't really know where I was going, found the hospital, found the ICU room. I punched the little buzzer and said, "I'm Tina Slinker, and I'm here to see Vic Schaefer." And they said, "Well, are you family?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, just a minute." So in a couple of minutes, the ICU doors, I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you've all been there. The doors open like this. And I see his wife, Holly, walking to me and barely able to get to me. And as she got to me, she fell in my arms, and she said, "Nobody's even been back here." Now, just so you know, her son's half of his skull is off the side of his head. And she says to me, "Tina, you have to stay. Vic's been in that room for 2 weeks without leaving. You've got to stay." I said, "Sure." So long story short, Vic comes out. We're in the waiting room. We're holding hands like this. And he's telling me, we're both coaches. We're competitive. We're supposed to have all the answers, right? Get on with it. And he's telling me I shouldn't have taken him to Tyler. I should have taken him with me. I don't know what I did wrong. I've taught him he's water skied, wakeboarded 1,000 times. And I said to him, "Vic, when I was going through that with my mom, I had a Bible verse in her room." And he said, "I have 6 Bible verses in that room." And I thought, oh, wow. I was reminded of what I learned. I said, "You know what, Vic? That sucks. I can't imagine what it's like to be you. I can't imagine what it feels like to have your son in the position that he's in right now," and his hand just released. And he said, "That's all right. We're going to make it through this." And the reason I'm telling you this is because of the importance that I learned in just having the ability to feel without, especially when there's no solution. There's no solution for losing my mom. I still haven't found one today. I have not found the ability to find that unconditional love of a mother. And the second part I want to share with you is what I've learned from passion. And you can already tell today with all of the talks that we've had already that people talk about passion. Every time I go to a meeting or you hear speakers tell their story, they're saying you've got to be passionate about what you do in life. And what I'm talking about is why it's critical to have a passion. What defines who you are above what you do. That core value that says, this is who I am. In fact, I have a great story for you. I landed at a school, Hockaday in Dallas, Texas. And it's just fantastic school, all-girls school. And I'm on this leadership of just incredible people. And one day I was driving home, and one of my colleagues from the leadership team called me and said another colleague of the leadership team went to my boss and basically said, I don't know if Tina's the person for this job. I had to pull over. I said, what is she talking about? She said, she just said, you're not always organized, and you're late to a couple of meetings. The meeting I was late to, I was off campus talking to a parent about her daughter was more important than anything I could have been doing. But I was devastated. I went in my office. I was sitting there. It was like 2 weeks, and I just struggled because I'm at the place I'm supposed to be, right? I have landed from all this loss. I've already survived. I'm in this place. I'm in a place where I love my passion, where I can make a difference in kids' lives no matter where I am. I said, what are you good at? Or why are you here? Is what came to my mind first. I said, because you love kids. And what are you good at? Motivating kids and building relationships with adults. And I walk out of my office, and 5 little pre-K kids just run up to me and hug me. And I can remember a tear running down my face. And I thought, it's just that easy. And the reason I'm telling you that is because it's so critical to know who you are above what you do. And I am talking about that core. I'm talking about what gets you up in the morning. I'm talking about those core values that say, this is who I am and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you know what? I've read every book, every 7 stages of grief, even wrote a book about losing my mom myself, but I couldn't find any answers. And we gave this message last week, and a friend of mine said, I really liked your message, but I wish you could tell us more about how to survive loss. And so really this week, I've spent a lot of sleepless nights thinking about how to tell you guys today how to survive loss, but guess what? I can't. But what I can tell you is that you will. And I have a story for you that happened about this time, the first Christmas after I lost my mom. And like I said, I was still devastated. I was disconnected, didn't know where I was going. For all of my life, I had gone home for Christmas. And my mother was our Christmas. I mean, she cooked, she baked, she cleaned, she decorated, and we all just went home and we enjoyed Christmas. She was our Christmas. So I didn't know where to go. So I thought, Tina, you know what? In this, what are you going to do next? I said, you've got choices. And so I thought, we're going to go to my niece's house. We're going to go to Arizona. It's warm. It's a lot warmer than it is in Albuquerque. And we made up these rules. We have to stay in our pajamas all day. We have to watch a movie. Doesn't matter what movie it is. I grill steak. She buys a salad. And we put the baked potato in the microwave. And she buys little rolls. And we get our favorite wine. And we have a better different, or a different better. But it's not the same as going home to my mother and father. But it's a new way. And that's what I want to share with you today. That no matter what you do or how you need to get over that, whether you've got to reach out to people, you've got to make choices, you've got to find different ways to live your life. That was such a celebration that we have now, that we take my mother's Christmas with us now, and we're headed in a new direction, and we look forward to Christmas again. And that's what I want you to do. Even if you have to get through life, this is your how-to, minute by minute, until you can get through it hour by hour, and then day by day. I can promise you, you will eventually live life day by day, hour by hour, and embracing every single minute. So what I invite you to take with you today as you leave is this. I want you to give yourself permission to feel so that you can see it. Do you know that our issues come out in loss? And that's why it's so different, yours and yours from mine, because we have different issues. We have different ways. We have to go through life and journey through our losses, not just losses, any challenges. Have any of you had any challenges this week? You're probably having some right now. You have to go through those in your own way and in your own time. And secondly, I want you to find that passion. What you're passionate about. And like I'm saying, not just what you do, but who you are above what you do. And the last thing I want you to do is not attach your self-worth to the opinion of the world or not even one single person. And I can promise you, you will lead a more peaceful and powerful life. Thank you.